As we've been reporting, the suspect in this shooting now the target of a massive manhunt across the biggest city in the country in the middle of the busy holiday season. For more on the investigation and how law enforcement will try to track down the shooter, I want to bring in John Monaghan, a retired captain with the New York City Police Department. John, thanks so much for being here tonight. So, John, we're going to walk our viewers step by step from the clues that we know the investigators have. We know they probably have more. Let's roll this video. This is the surveillance video of the assassination. And you see right here, he's walking to the hotel. We're going to freeze it here because we don't want to show the shooting. Talk to me about what you're noticing here. You notice sort of a gun here. We were talking about potentially a silencer, a heavy gray backpack, and the position that he's shooting. What do you see?
The position tells me he's at least spent some time at a gun range.
You know that from the way.
You can
it's good
tell.
form.
His stance is proper. His arms are proper. This is how you would train someone. He doesn't appear to be highly trained, but he knows his way around the gun.
Why do you say not appears to be highly trained?
The way he tries to clear the jam, the gun jam, he does know how to clear a jam on a gun. Yeah. That requires some knowledge and some training. He may be professional in the sense that he was paid for this. I don't think that this was a personal on his part. When we get to the end of this video.
Let's roll the next clip, and you can walk us through the next clip once we play this one. So this is right after he's done shooting, and he's walking off here. Not really taking off. He's not jogging away.
The victim would be down here?
Yeah.
I noticed this. He finishes firing. He approaches the subject.
Yeah.
And turns away. If this was personal to him, he'd have gotten in closer to deliver a message or the final kill shot. He doesn't. He just walks away unaffected.
Okay.
That tells you something.
You know New York City and Manhattan well. Let's go to our next element here. We want to show how he essentially gets away and he walks through before he gets to the park, right? So this is where he shoots Thompson. He then jumps on a city bike, which is the bikes you can rent here in New York City, essentially for free. And then he jumps on that city bike, and there's tens of thousands of these bikes, and he takes off into Central Park. What does this getaway tell you?
I don't want to say he knows his way around town, that he's a New Yorker. I don't believe that. You could go to Google Earth like we're here now, go down to street level, study your area. He obviously put some time into this. He was prepared for this. I have a lot of questions about all of that as well. How did he know that this man was leaving his hotel at exactly that time? He was only laying away for 5 minutes. The conference wasn't until 9 o'clock. How did this kid know to be there at that time? And why was he an hour and a half early for the conference? Also, why was he not staying in the Hilton where the conference was? He was staying across the street. How does this kid, he had intelligence information. So why did he go around this way through this? They call it an alley. It's actually a beautiful plaza. And then come back this way? I don't know. That's where he left the bike?
He's on the bike. He has a large gray backpack. What does that tell you? Because it seemed, to me, it stood out because it's so big.
Right. He may have other firearms. If that's a silencer, that does tell you something about the silencer. And why the gun jam? There's a lot we could talk about with that because there's a thing called subsonic ammunition that doesn't give the same pressure as the gun requires to eject the round properly. Subsonic ammunition is known to cause jams.
And it's not as loud?
Correct. That's why they call it that. And it's not as powerful.
I want to go to our next element. He escapes into Central Park, and this is essentially where police at least have told us that he kind of disappears, right? And Central Park is massive. My question to you is, if he goes into Central Park, are there cameras inside Central Park?
Fixed posts, there are a few.
Yeah.
We do put up
But we're talking about, if you go all the way around 6 miles, 3 miles down, I mean, there's a lot of places to disappear, right?
Well, technology is one thing. But good detective work, and I know Joe Kenny, he's got his guys out there. Shoe leather.
Okay.
You get to this corner, 59th and 6th, Central Park South and Avenue, the Americas, and you ask every doorman, every store clerk, every cab driver, who walks their dog at the same time every day? Oh, little old lady lives in that building. We're going to knock on every door in that building till we find her. People know more and have seen more than they realize.
Right.
And now you go through the whole park. There are people that jog the same time every day. We're going to talk to every doorman along this strip.
Yeah.
And by now, this is about 12 hours in. I would venture to say that they've got a handful of witnesses already.
And just to be clear, there are cameras around here.
There are. All of these buildings,
somewhere.
Some of the posts here, some of the more traveled areas would have cameras.
If we can go back to that other map that we just showed, Brett, I'm going to talk to our director here, because I want to make this point. Where the shooting happened and where you have the Rockefeller tree lighting, obviously it's happening tonight. It didn't happen in the morning. But this guy killed the CEO from United. with a massive police presence just blocks away, because the police have been here for days. You know they're going to block all this off today. It's impossible to get in. It wasn't that crazy this morning, but there's a lot of cops in this area. What does it tell you that he was brazen enough to pull it off, knowing there's this massive police presence just a few blocks down?
I think it was out of necessity. He had intelligence information. He knew where this man was staying. He knew when he was going to leave his hotel, and he laid in wait for only a few minutes. So he knew exactly when he was leaving. I'd say he didn't have a choice. Would he rather do it in a quieter place? Probably. Maybe that's why he pulled out a silencer.
I want to show you the images they took from the Starbucks, which is on 56 and 6, so just a couple streets from where the shooting took place. He's in full gear, but, you know, post-pandemic, sometimes people wear the mask over their face. They wear the hood. Sometimes people go around looking like this. Does this tell us anything? Not much.
Not much, really. You know, there's so many avenues that have to be explored. And again, the Detective Bureau and the NYPD, they're going to assign a team to each avenue.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if they didn't put 2 homicide detectives on a plane bound from Minnesota this morning.
Yeah.
You need to look into his private life, his professional life, then the ballistics at the scene, knocking on doors in the immediate vicinity of his escape route. But from that picture, you don't have a lot.
Finally, let's talk about the victim in this case, because we can't ever forget the victim here, right? We told you he's the CEO of the largest health insurer in the entire country, 50 years old, married with children. What does that tell you about the victim? I mean, obviously, he was so high profile.
Well, again, there's a lot of avenues. Professionally is one, personally is another. You have to find out everything you can about all his associations, personal ones as well as professional ones. I understand that this conference was about finance. He's the CPA. Yeah. I don't see where there's a direct connect to him denying coverage to someone. Not saying that that's not an issue. We would set a team on that, explore the finances of that. Was that the issue, or was it elsewhere?
Okay.
You have to find out everything you can about him, both professionally and personally.
Okay. We thank you for joining us tonight. This was incredibly helpful.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.